Hey, what is up? What is going on? I am Gumby and welcome to another VOD review. This time we're going to look at the greatest upset of the Season 2, or yeah, Season 2 of Overwatch League, which is the Houston Outlaws versus San Francisco Shock. Now, a lot of people are saying triple DPS is now the thing, and that it is something that is more efficient than GOATs. Some are saying that Outlaws are now the best team out there, or whatever, or some other ridiculous claim. But quite frankly, I don't believe it. But I do believe that the Outlaws did improve quite a bit. I don't think triple DPS is the way to go in every single map, but they have found their stride. So we'll see. So we'll advance the time a little bit. Oops, that's a little bit too advanced. So, coming in, the Outlaws are running Summer Goats versus Winston Goats with a Moira. So the Moira basically implies that Shock were expecting some form of triple or quadruple DPS composition. Sinatra gets slept, Rascal stays with him, pretty standard. Okay, so fight is happening right the hell now, and already Sinatra and Super have taken quite a bit of damage. Super almost has no health. Typically, you want to play it slow. You don't have to engage immediately into this. Armor pack is already out, so that means that the way that you play new goats is you armor pack first, and that's the signal to engage. Engage on a target, usually the Rhine. You force out the bubble, you bubble yourself, and then the things after that will decide whether or not you push even further forward or if you back off a little bit and recharge your cooldowns. So, oops. I hate it when that happens. So they're still pretty much half health. Like Super, despite taking quite a bit of spam, decides to push forward. Chohyubin tries to go for the Ana for Raucus, but I think he got booped all the way up, gets DMA'd, and this aggression from Shock should be over. Luma tries to go for a pin, gets booped by Rascal. Rascal almost dies, is saved by the bubble, but that means that Super cannot be aggressive. They need to rotate and bide their time, recharge their shield, all the way here. Okay. So let's look at the discipline of the friggin' Outlaws. Well, right now they're not very disciplined because Muma is about to get spammed by Violet as he tries to swing away. So Muma goes dangerously low. Likely Super sees this and communicates with his team. Then again, Chohyubin is not yet in mech. He's about to get it, so may not have the capacity to follow up on the low health Muma. Super walks in with the armor. Linkser goes for a double shield. Super goes for, what do you call this? An air shatter, gets boink. Where is Jake? Jake is nowhere near, but okay, there's Jake. But what Jake does here is kinda awesome. So Chohyubin tries to go for boink. Notices the boink is no longer like a viable target. Goes instead for a pinch on Muma. But Jake responds in kind with a stun. Raucus goes for a sleep. The moment that this is communicated with the rest of the team, Linkser then, while while Nano Boosted goes for the grab.
Pass into the iris.
The anti-nade goes out from Raucus from the side. Chohyubin couldn't really see it from that chaos, and of course this fight is definitely over. And the good thing is that the Outlaws were able to force out the Transcendence from Violet. So now Moth is nowhere near his ult, or at least not yet, but It's really difficult as a Lucio to get your ultimate that consistently. He has to play really aggressive, and into a Sombra, that's really tough. It's a really tough ask. So the Shock will likely initiate this fight with a Graviton Surge, follow up with a Rally because they're expecting Boink to have the beat, and for Dante to use the EMP. So by using the Rally, from Rascal, you kinda have a safeguard against the EMP for Sinatra and for Violet. So, see how this plays out. We will have the speed. Again, SF Shock have already taken a lot of spam. They have to commit the armor pack before the fight actually starts. But then again, they do initiate immediately after, so it's fine. Oh, hang on. Things are happening, and I am not in the correct angle. So they initiate with the grav. Boink doesn't immediately, what do you call this? It doesn't immediately beat because he knows that there's only two of them who can immediately aggress. And I think Super got booped away by Jake's flail. So the only person who can follow up is Joe Yubin. Sinatra is being shielded by Muma, so he's fine. So just a slight delay from the beat, which is kind of good. You want to reserve as much shielding as possible. Super tries to go for a charge, but he didn't really get anyone picked off because there was what do you call this? A sound barrier. The proper play I think there for the SF Shock is they bait out the sound barrier by using the Graviton Surge, and after that they just back off. They just back off. Like take care of Dante, who's definitely in the back line. See it again over here. EMP goes out. Dante is kind of like in the middle of everything. But the thing is, SF Shock did not need to engage into that sound barrier, despite the Graviton Surge. There's just too much sustain, and not to mention that Violet, who got hacked, does not have the Discord Orb with him. So it was not likely that any of them could have been able to pick someone off in that Graviton Surge. So they kind of messed up. Kind of did. Uma commits the Earth Shadow because why the hell not? SF Shock just committed 2 big support ults and a big tank ult, so who cares? It's fine to be a little bit more cavalier when it comes to the ultimates. Outlaws again almost have the Graviton Surge of their own. Shock only has Super's ult in Moths, which is again another tough ask. They need Moth to like boop someone away. They need Moth to boop Uma away, and then get a really good shatter, and force out the bubbles from Linkser. So again, they're taking a lot of spam. So it's alright this time though. It's just Sinatra. We're fine with that. Is half. They wisely back off because they know the play of the SF Shock is to just engage with everything that they have because it is the last fight. I didn't notice that.
Into the iris.
Can play that again. The random sleep dart from Raucus. Okay, they're poking, they're getting into position. Linkser now has the grav. They had to use Armor Pack and Muma, as well as the bubble. But that's more of like a peel. What Outlaws are trying to do are they're trying to build their own ults because they know that SF Shock is about to commit everything that they have because again it is the last fight territory.
Огонь по готовности!
Goes for the grab on the side.
Into the iris.
A little bit late on the... Okay, there's a bit of a miscommunication probably here between Violet and Moth because Moth definitely wanted to have had sound barriered that. I think he just got it.
Into the iris.
Oops. That's a little bit too soon. Okay.
Огонь по готовности!
Oh, Moth just got it. Okay, so the plan here was definitely to sound barrier first. Not go for the transcendence because even if like Super does get transcended, there's still a fairly good chance that he's gonna be bursted down, especially if Rockus just nades while the charge goes in. So definitely what they wanted here for the SF Shock was Moth's sound barrier. Unfortunately, he just got it, and now they have to commit both. And unfortunately, it did not save Super. Uma wisely backs off, the rest of his team goes for the aggressive push. And yeah, this is just a cleanup. Chohyobin goes for the for the old 6-man bomb. Of course, it's not gonna work. So yeah, overall, really good engagements from the Outlaws, and as for the San Francisco Shock, like they're getting really sloppy. Like they're engaging into fights before Super can recover most of his armor slash health. That's a really risky proposition. So anyway, we're gonna advance the time just a smidge. See what they're running.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So the Outlaws are running a very strange form of goats with Uma on Hammond. Shock are going with a rather standard one with, what do you call this, a Winston. So the idea here, I think, for the Outlaws is to use the environment because there is this pit. There is this pit right here, as well as this environmental hazard. So the idea is for Muma to engage in and maybe try to boop the SF Shock. They could also have been expecting SF Shock to use a Rhine Goat's composition for this one, and therefore Muma on Hammond is going to be able to bully Super quite a bit, if done correctly. So right here they're just poking. They use the bubble on Muma to keep him safe. But apart from that, they're just gonna keep poking. So what Outlaws are trying to do is looking for someone to dive. They're waiting for SF Shock to start rotating towards the point so that they can probably dive someone who chooses to remain on this high ground right here.
The objective is now active.
So objective is now active. There's someone who's going to rotate to the point. Definitely. It's probably gonna be Sinatra. Uma tries to pressure it, force a rotation from SF Shock. Sinatra does oblige. The moment that happens, Chohyobin drops in to the point, doesn't use the boosters, which is pretty good. The moment that happens, the rest of the Outlaws collapse on whoever is at this Mega, which is a smart play. They figure that everybody is cut off. The problem there is that now Rockus is cut off. He can't really engage because there's literally the rest of the SF Shock blocking his way. And then they didn't really... I don't know what happened to their target focus or if they could focus anyone immediately. They couldn't really boop anyone either, which is unfortunate. That was their game plan for this composition. And yeah, I think this is a lost fight for the Outlaws. Um, I would rather have it that Muma would be on Winston instead of the Hammond because, well, yes, you can go for environmental kills on Muma, on Hammond on this map. It's a bit inconsistent. Like you have to somehow bait them to walk onto the point. So basically, you're gonna hold in here and then push them. That's one consistent way. The other way is for Muma to actually forgo going with his team and just engage from here instead. So if you're the ball, you can roll from here to there and boop someone. But again, that's really risky. Like Rascal can just turn for you, bash into a push from Joe Hyobin into a Discord from Violet, and yeah, your ball is dead. A Winston, on the other hand, if we play out the scenario once again, so we're just gonna wait for them to rotate to the point. SF Shock is there. So if a Winston was here, like if Muma was Winston, he could bubble this section off. And what happens with that is Violet can no longer discord any other targets until they break down the bubble, but none of the heroes right here are really good at doing that. So if the Outlaws rotate really quick into the bubble and kill everyone here, there's a world wherein they just wipe Shock in this very first fight. By merely isolating half of their team. And taking advantage of the fact that the rest of the Shock were rotating towards the point to capture it. At this point, I would like Muma to switch. I don't think the ball is gonna work. But it seems like they're keeping it. Alright. I mean, this is something that they probably practiced. I'm not sure. Not sure how, like, I guess they're really confident for them to keep it still. Like, I don't think Muma's ult is that valuable. Especially if you have a lot of ways to just destroy the mines. So anyway, they're poking. Fight is about to happen. What I want them to do is to have most of the Outlaws rotate to this Mega and down into the Cubby. Like, down here. Bait the SF Shock to stuff you inside that room. And then Muma can then go for a boop. He can just roll out from here. Just roll. And then the only person who's not gonna go with them is Dante. Because Dante will just try and wait here for the signal to rotate to the high ground over here, where Violet will be. Because that's definitely what the SF Shock are trying to do, or going for. So let's see how this plays out. Muma tries to go for a boop. That's really close. They rotate towards the point. But the thing is, the rest of the Outlaws are not yet here. Like, they're not on the same page. I'd rather have Jake and Linkser go towards the point, because they know that Raucus is relatively safe from being dove. Chohyobin is right here. Right? So that means that Raucus, for the time being, is really safe from being dove. They don't really need to protect him. So the rest of the Outlaws should have been rotating towards the point and controlling this cubby. How you liking the new replay feature? I actually love it. It's kind of weird being able to go through walls, but yeah. Wait, why am I slowing down time? They just got wiped. This is an overfight for the Houston Outlaws. Okay, they're still sticking to this. SF Shock has a plethora of ults. They can use any single one to win this next fight. Outlaws, you just need to play a little bit slow, build up your own ults, and maybe start doing the tit for tat exchange of ultimates. Engagement happens, wait. Slow down. Oops. Slow this down. Okay, Muma is trying to go for a 1v1 with Super. That's not gonna work. Not sure what the plan there is. So definitely Houston Outlaws have a lot to go before they are called a top tier team. And they're back to poking. Push the point. Houston Outlaws has everything, just like how Shock have everything. They need to destroy the bubble. Okay, that's one way to do it. Super ult. Traps 2 people inside. Okay, and this is an overfight. You needed Jake's rally in there. That's another thing though. It's like, I don't think rally works that well with the composition of the Outlaws.
Nerf this!
I have no idea what Dante was doing here. Want to see that again.
I'll show them.
What was the plan there for Dante? Wait, still not far enough.
Come on. Now. Routing power to forward shield.
Okay, we just saw him die. God damn it.
Time to leave my team.
Okay, so Dante was trying to zone out Sinatra from going on to Rockus, but
Forward shield. Nerf
that's
this!
really bad. It's really bad though, especially if Violet was with him. So yeah, this is a really scuffed engagement from the Outlaws. I don't think they should run this particular composition or strategy again, or at least not against the SF Shock.
Огонь по готовности.
SF Shock commit ults because they know that if they win this fight, they own us to win everything, or to use everything and succeed is on the Outlaws. Of course, they're not gonna win it because it's a 6v5, 6v3. It's a clean, fairly clean game from the Shock on this map, but only because, I mean, that's just a weird strategy from the Outlaws. Not sure what the hell they were trying to do there. Okay. Now I think Outlaws goes full Element Mystic on this map. The reason being this point is really good with Doomfist. Like, this is a really easy punch. But if you're Outlaws, your game plan is basically you use your Doomfist so that your Sombra can maybe get a hack and build EMP, or you use a hack to distract the enemy team, distract Shock, and then get a punch from Jake and a pick off as well from that punch. So the SF Shock chooses to go low, and again this implies that they were expecting some form of Pharah maybe? Because rotating from here directly towards the point just negates Pharah's spam for quite a bit. Like Pharah now has to fly low to the ground and very risky. You could get booped, you could get Sinatra. The beam of Sinatra should be able to reach you. Violet can go for a really easy right click. So, yeah. But the Outlaws are not using that. They kinda like meta game them a little bit because now that they rotated all the way to the point like this, Jake's punches are going to get maximum value. Where is Jake, by the way? Jake is not here. He's actually going for a flank. Alright. Pretty smart because again, if you're a Doomfist with this composition, the idea is to punch and get a kill immediately out of the punch. If you don't get that, then you're kinda in trouble because how do you really escape here as Doomfist? You're kinda full committing. But then again, that's the story of every Doomfist, right? You're almost always fully committing, and if you can't really get a kill, then what the SF Shock will do is just run over Muma and Linkser. And then the rest of their line just collapses. So, Trehilbin has not yet spotted Jake. Linkser is already half. This is right now being communicated that they're distracted. They're preoccupied with whoever's in front. He misses the punch! That is really unfortunate. Jake, please. They do get a hack on Choyubin, so that's pretty good. But they don't have a follow up. Jake goes for a flanking punch. There we go. This fight is already won for the Outlaws, basically. All they needed was that. They can now just collapse on the rest of the SF Shock.
Tower to forward barrier.
Another thing that the Outlaws can do with this composition is, since they have an Ana and Sombra and Doomfist can be a distraction, they can go for a nade. Since Shohyubin will likely commit his DM just to save someone who's being punched or CC'd by Doomfist. Or being hacked by Dante. So the engagement happens.
Routing power to forward shield.
Honestly, I think they should have gone for the point, but then again, this is also a good wall to punch people into. They do rotate to the point. Bubble is already committed for super, but does not get value from that. Goes for the Earth Shatter. Gets
Into
booped.
the iris.
Charges in. That's a really dangerous charge because now he's in the middle of no man's land. Elixir goes for the Graviton Surge. Really ambitious. There's a peeling Graviton Surge from Sinatra, and that's basically an overfight. I think they could have committed their EMP. Just not sure if they have it yet. They don't. They don't have it yet. I think the biggest mistake here was Muma charging in. So again, they still have a lot to work on, Houston Outlaws, in terms of individual things.
Iris.
Like, I think Jake communicated to Muma that super was low, he's discorded. Muma just got his, what do you call this, nano boost, so therefore he can burst down super. But right at that moment, Violet goes for the Transcendence. And now he is really fucked up in this 6-man hell inside the SF Shock backline. The reason why you typically don't really want to engage for the charge, no matter what situation is because you can just get stunned by Rascal or Brig in general. And now, if you have a Discord orb on your head, the rest of the SF Shock can just pile on you. You're dead.
Огонь по готовности.
Elixir goes for the Grav. I'm not 100% sure why. I think he was thinking Jake could maybe get an ult into this. And also Violet just uses Transcendence, but then again, like, there's a lot of healing from the SF Shock, so that's another thing. Maybe they can get a punch, but this is a bit, well, I guess this wall is here, so they can definitely still get a pick off, but it's a bit sketch. Yeah, they can go for a punch and then Jake can ult and immediately land into the middle of the SF Shock, but again, very sketch. So, the Outlaws have Doomfist ult and Sombra ult. SF Shock have 2 tank ults basically, and a rally. So they should be able to survive both of these ultimates, unless Outlaws also commit, well, basically Outlaws commit everything. Okay, so this is really smart, right? Dante and Jake try to go for the cap to bait Chohyubin to capture or to contest the point. Or at least, I think the original plan was Jake. Dante was invisible. So the idea was for Chohyubin to rotate to the point to contest Jake. But since he's doing that, and it's actually a 2v1, Dante is just stealthed. Dante unstealths, hacks Chohyubin, and then they kill off the Diva. Now it's a more fair fight right at the front line for the Houston Outlaws, should that happen. but it doesn't quite happen. Chohyubin didn't quite take the bait. Or he's now forced to take the bait. The rest of the SF Shock are forced back to the point. That's a really nice sleep on Super, using the distraction caused by Jake and... Oh man! I think the bubble actually kinda saved him. Was it the bubble or... No, there was no beat. I think the bubble saved Super there. At least for a bit. Yeah, that's a lot of damage that's being negated. Punch, they isolate Super. Okay. They're gonna re-engage. Even commit the EMP. I'm not sure they needed to. But yeah, this is an overfight. Jake might switch. I don't know. I'm not sure. But if you're SF Shock, the rotation was fine, I guess. Or you could actually just sacrifice Chohyubin. I think Chohyubin had an ult, so you can still zone out the two DPSs from Outlaws, right? Let's go back to that fight. Oops. Way before this, please. Okay. So here we go. Outlaws are poking over there. Chohyubin doesn't have ult just yet. So I think another thing that they could have done if you're SF Shock is to recognize that there are two people on the point right now. And this is the two people on the point for Houston Outlaws is majority of their damage. So if you just ignore them and instead bulldoze everyone inside this cubby, which you definitely can do. You have Rally, you have what do you call this? You have Rally, you have or Chatter. So you can definitely speed into them. It's a 5v4, 6v4 if Chohyubin decides to join in. And yes, you kinda sacrifice the point, but who cares? Like, 4 of the Outlaws are dead, you can just rotate to the point. There's no way that these two are going to be capable of keeping the point for the Outlaws. So, that's one play that the SF Shock could have done. But I think they were kinda shocked, no pun intended, with the composition that the Outlaws are using and the prowess by how they're using it. Like, there are major improvements. It's really unfortunate. The timing on that was really unfortunate, but they still clean this up, so who cares? They do commit quite a bit to it, though. I guess you're fine with that, because Rascal did commit the, Okay, so this is weird. I remember one of these really distinct, like, shatters from Super, and I have no idea why he goes for this. Yeah, you have Boink and Jake, nice and stunned, but I think he was going to peel for the rest of his team, who's still here. And maybe they can go for a turnaround, but really risky, right? Yeah, he tried to go and save Sinatra. He stuns both, but there's no follow-up because the rest of his team is dead. with the exception of Violet. And Violet does not want to oblige. So yeah. This series is marked by the improvements of the Outlaws, significant improvements of the Outlaws, and SF Shock just not playing like themselves. Like, they're making a lot of individual mistakes. It's really costing them. So, the fight is about to happen. We need to slow down. Dante goes for a hack. Super's already half.
Огонь по готовности!
Choose to ignore Dante, wisely so.
Pass into the iris.
Strength unleashed.
So they need to focus a target. There we go. They're trying to focus Muma. They could have gone for Jake, honestly, that fight. Because if we look again, Jake is the easiest kill. If Jake punches in
Into the eye.
and goes even further inwards. So I think, yeah, they needed to communicate that. Like, they needed to focus down Jake. Because he's fully committed right now.
Vamos esculachar!
Good beat. Chehubin is almost dead.
Meteor strike!
Goes for a bomb. Bomb kills Boink. This might be an overfight. Jake is in the middle of no man's land. Muma goes for a very ambitious shatter, but of course it doesn't work. What they did do, Houston Outlaws, is force out a lot of ultimates from the SF Shock. Like, the only thing that they have right now is, for sure, is what do you call this? A rally. Jake now switches off Doomfist, rightly so. I think Doomfist's utility has ended. They do have an EMP, so Dante's already in position. They're dead. Oh my god, that was so. Okay, what was Chehubin doing in that entire sequence before that? What was Chehubin doing? Yeah, he's not even checking for Dante, dude. Or maybe he thought that Dante was dead, but I don't know. But there was no check for where the Sombra's going to be. There is still a rally, but good god, the EMP in the next fight is just going to destroy them. So I think that's just really good play from the Outlaws. They were able to bait out both the Transcendence and the beat in the last fight, and therefore the Outlaws just have an easy win. That's really smart. Bam. Like, I'm thinking of various ways that SF Shock could win this, but there isn't any because there's nothing to counter the EMP other than for Chehubin or Rascal to somehow flush out the Sombra, stun him, and kill him before the Outlaws can do anything. That's basically it. They just checkmated Shock from the previous fight by forcing out both sound barrier and transcendence. Like, even if Violet hid, like, that wouldn't have been enough. Even if Moth hid from the EMP, that still wouldn't have been enough. Unless they had ults, which they don't. So yeah, that's a really clean fight from the Outlaws. Like, the path to victory there was really difficult. Like, a lot of things had to go right for the Shock. So again, really good play. Really good play from the Outlaws. SF Shock, they need to clean up a little bit their plays. I think they did, considering that they did defeat the Soul Dynasty, who are somewhat in the up and up. Somewhat. But that's another VOD review. So, oh wait. Let's go back and slow down time. So SF Shock, you basically have this one fight. Oops, that's a little bit too far. Let's go to 31 seconds. Never mind, it doesn't want me to. Yep, really doesn't want me to. So we get to see this again. I guess, can you? If you hide Violet and he doesn't get EMP'd while Rally is going out, could you still win? I don't think so.
Apagando
I'll be
las
quite
luces.
frank, I don't think so.
I know what I'm doing.
Okay, so this should be the last fight. Start poking, blah blah. They rotate straight to point instead of the high ground, which I guess makes sense. It is the last fight. Moth eats a friggin' fire strike to the face, has to hide, and plays slightly passive. He can't afford to get picked off. Oh no, okay, that's another individual mistake, right? Good thing that the only person who got stunned was Violet and there wasn't an immediate follow-up. Well, I think we're about to see the follow-up.
Огонь по
They got
готовности.
away, but there is a Graviton Surge, so yeah, they're dead. They're super dead. So the problem there was, if we can rewind just 5 seconds, hopefully we can. I don't understand why it's rewinding all the way like that, but sure. Why doesn't it want to go further into the future? This is a weird bug. Okay, we're gonna...
Apagando las luces.
Okay, people die, blah blah blah. Pretty good EMP. Okay. Engagement is about to happen. They rotate to the low side. Alright. So let's watch this again because Super did a boo-boo. From what I can tell. Violet just ate that. Violet and Moth just ate that, so... Okay, so why is Super pointing his shield at Muma? Well, Muma's still there, so I guess that makes sense. But now it's only Linkser and Sinatra dueling, basically. So he doesn't really need to shield Sinatra for this. He's fine. He's gonna be fine. So the question is, why did he rotate like this? And now Muma can basically shatter like 3 people if Rascal is not in the position to block the shatter like that. So yeah, this is that is why they lost this fight without, well, a fight, without an actual fight going on.
Огонь по готовности. Guardium fuerte.
It's just a very clean wipe for the Outlaws because Super was not in position. So that's map 1, Nepal. I'm going to take a short break. When we come back, we're gonna go with the second map of the series. Be right back.